All right, welcome back. Shock of all shockers, it's bonus season and big banks are scrambling to repay those TARP loans. I do wonder why. Let's get a little reality check here, shall we? Citigroup and Wells Fargo, the latest to announce that, yes, they will pay back their portion of that particular government handout. Wells Fargo to the tune of $25 billion, Citibank to the tune of some $20 billion. But the motive behind this move, purely money, no surprise. We are dealing with greedy bankers after all. The banks want out of the pay-czar's handcuffs just so they can pay themselves more money. No matter how much destruction they may wreak upon us, no TARP owed means no salary caps for banks like Goldman Sachs, Citi, or Wells Fargo. However, the whole notion that TARP repayment means that these banks are off the government dole is preposterous and is quite simply an outright lie. When looking at how the banks are getting their money from you, the taxpayer, keep paying your taxes, baby. Think of Congress as their Visa and the Federal Reserve Bank as their American Express. The banks might be paying back their billions to Congress, but they're still using their American Express over here at the Federal Reserve all day long. Willy-nilly, in fact, using all the guarantees to do that proprietary trading Governor Spitzer was just telling us about to make all that money. It's a good time. And the American Express is still in deep usage here. The real story between the support programs like the so-called TALF, the TLGP, the TIP, the PPI, the Maiden Lane Toxic Asset Funds, these banks are receiving roughly $7 trillion still after the TARP, pay all the TARP money back. Oh, it's very impressive that you've managed to exploit the entire financial system so that you could make a bunch of money so you could pretend to pay it back. It's clever. Anyway, and paying back the tiny slice of the TARP that they did, they do get to ditch those salary caps and retain all the benefits of the Fed programs. Pretty good deal, right? I'd like to be a banker. Despite Senator Dodd's assessment that TARP repayments are a sign things are turning around, the reality is this. The government is enabling an ongoing colossal theft being perpetrated against the American people by bank executives that continues to cost loss of home and job across this country. And quite honestly, our politicians don't even seem to understand the windfall support they continue to provide to these big banks. Makes you feel good about your leadership, doesn't it? Now, the taxpayers are still on the hook for the trillions that they're using, and yet the American people apparently have no right to the billions that they'll pay themselves this year or the billions they paid themselves for the past 10 years perpetrating this giant fraud against the American people. Anybody out there ready for a windfall profits tax yet? Or do you want to just leave that one for England and France where they act, they don't know what they're doing. We're better. We're back after this.